and welcome back to my channel, and welcome back to another Cook With Me video. So today's video I'm making a few meals to put in my freezer as well as for some upcoming suppers this week. So first up, I am making a chicken tikka masala. I will be just using a jar sauce just to make it easy. So first up, what I do is I brown up some chicken. So I just had this chicken in the freezer that I had pre-diced when I had first bought it. So I'm just browning it up here. I added some salt and pepper to it as well, and now I'm putting in some vegetables. Usually I like to put like broccoli in it, some cauliflower, but I didn't have just those singly, so I'm putting the carrots in too, and it actually did taste very well. So just putting the sauce in there. It's a VH sauce. I do like the VH sauces. I think they're really good. And I don't know about you, but I always put a little bit of water in my jars just so I can get every last little bit out. So I'm just mixing it up now and going to let it simmer. Curry is all done. So I have 2 more meals out of that, and this is my lunch for today. On to banana bread. So I will have the banana bread recipe linked down below. So it's pretty simple. I'm going to be putting the sugar and the butter. I'm using margarine because that's what I have. And I'm just going to cream that together. And then, as you'll see, I'll be adding the egg and then the banana mixture. So now I'm just adding the dry ingredients. So I'm adding the baking soda, and I'll be adding some salt, and then the flour. You'll see me start to measure the flour and then realize what I need is actually what was in the jar, so I'll just dump the whole thing in. So now I'm moving on, the banana bread's in the oven, and I'm moving on to blueberry muffins. So I'm just going to start with the dry ingredients and get them together. So I've mixed up, I used, as you saw, frozen blueberries, and I mixed it up and the batter turned blue. As is the case with when you ever use frozen berries, it's going to turn the batter whatever color the berry is. So anyway, I'm just scooping it up, and I've kind of over scooped a bit, so you'll see me kind of adjust that so they all come out the same. I wasn't too impressed with these blueberry muffins that I made, so I won't be sharing the recipe, but I'll be looking for another blueberry recipe for blueberry muffins, and hopefully they'll turn out better. If they do, I'll share that recipe. Banana bread is all cooling. I got my blueberry muffins in the oven, cooking away there. They're blue because I used frozen blueberries. They're a little bit dark. Part of that is because they're blue. And the other part is I think my oven's a little bit too hot. So, because I only had them in the time they wanted to be in, the minimum amount they needed to be in, and they're a little bit extra done on top, but oh well, we'll see. So it's a little bit after 5 o'clock, as you can see there. So I have some fusilli pasta, and I'm just making up like this spinach and mushroom Alfredo. So I had a jar of Alfredo sauce, and then I took a few good handfuls of spinach and sliced up a bunch of mushrooms. I also put about a half a brick of cream cheese in there, and about a tablespoon and a half of garlic. And so I'm just going to let that mix up, and I'll probably add a little bit of milk just to thin it out once the cheese gets in there, because once the pasta gets in, you're going to want it a little bit more saucier. And I'll probably add a little bit of salt and pepper in there as well, and some Parmesan cheese. So everything is kind of melted in there now, and I added some salt and pepper to it. And I'm just going to let the mushrooms soften up a bit more. The pasta is still cooking, and once that's cooked, I'll just add it in. So I almost forgot the chicken. So these are just some pre-seasoned chicken strips, and I'm just going to put, I don't know if I'll put the whole package in, but half of the package, and I'll just put it in there. Right, so I'm just folding this in, and then supper is ready. And the last thing I'm making is my spaghetti sauce. So right now I'm just chopping up about a pepper to a pepper and a half, and I just have some red and orange and yellow to use up, so that's what I'm using. So I just kind of put them into little cube-sized pieces, and I'm going to be using about one full smallish, between small and medium onion, and I'll also be chopping that up as well to use. So I'm just putting a little avocado oil in the pan, and I'm going to I'm using ground chicken is what I use. Ground chicken or ground turkey. I prefer chicken over turkey, but it's one or the other that I use. So I'm just going to brown that up. I'll add some salt and pepper to it. And then I'm going to add the peppers and the onions. I'm going to let them soften up and cook with the ground chicken. So I'm adding just 1 can of mushrooms. You can use fresh mushrooms. I have used that too, but just going to use canned mushrooms for today. I put 1 in. Sometimes I might put more than 1 in. And then I put a big can of diced tomatoes. Put the tomatoes and the juice that was in the can, all of it in. And so that's just going to cook up. So that is just some oregano I'm adding in, and I'm also adding in some garlic powder. So you can kind of just measure it how you prefer. I think I used about probably a tablespoon or so. And that last thing was some Mediterranean seasoning. It was like roasted tomato and pepper and garlic kind of mixture. And then some salt and pepper. So that is just some President's Choice pasta sauce that I've used. I use usually just tomato sauce plain sometimes, and sometimes I use the stuff that's pre-seasoned. This was the sweet basil, and it was the first time I'm using it, and boy, was it really, really good. It really made a difference in the sauce. So I'm just letting that simmer, and that's going to simmer probably for a half hour or so, and then actually probably cook some pasta, have it for supper tonight, and the rest of it I'm going to divvy out for the freezer. So supper's all done. I made some garlic bread with a hamburger bun I had in the freezer. So I'm going to eat this up, then I'm going to divvy out the rest of it into containers for the freezer.